Hi everyone, I'm Gina Nicolosi from Northern Illinois University, and I'm super excited about this month's walkthrough for the Whodunnit Case for the Microsoft Excel Collegiate Challenge. I'm excited because I love mysteries and I love number theory and cryptography, and so I was very excited when I saw today's case. So let's go through the case a little bit before we get down to it. So here, we're going to have 5 different bonus questions, which I'm going to come back to at the end, but there has been crimes that have been committed in Excel. And we need to rearrange and decode some stuff to figure out what's going on. So this code is going to be super simple. It's going to be that every letter has been replaced with a number, and the number is the number of the letter in the alphabet. So A has been replaced with 1 and B has been replaced with 2 and so forth. So we have several different levels on this case. I think level 7, and then the 5 bonus questions, and then just getting a little acquainted with the arrangement of the case. And then we have this other tab called message data, with some message categories, whether or not this is an Excel crime, like using unnecessarily complex numbers. I bet hard coding is somewhere in here. That is a big crime for my students. Okay, so let's get to it. Like I said, I'm going to come back to the bonus questions. You can see like you can't do bonus number 3 or bonus number 1 until you've completed level 3, or bonus 4 until you've completed level 1. But I'm going to come down here first. Okay, so in level 1, it says what I just said, that every letter has been replaced with a number that relates to the positional location of that letter in the alphabet. When we have multi-word messages, so there's spaces in between the words, the spaces have been replaced with this plus sign. And the longest message is 87 characters long. So if you have done MECC before, what I usually do is I like to do a lot of my work over to the side. The fact that it's 87 long means that like I'd have to be scrolling for a while. So we're going to try to avoid scrolling in this particular game. So the first one is, what's the greatest number that appears in the encrypted message? So here, in this message here, if you look and go to the right here, you don't want to visually keep going and figuring out what is the largest number, but it's saying, the hint here, is saying that the largest number is 25. Okay, so how are we going to figure this out? We could do like a max and then scroll, but I want to be more precise. I like to, a hack here is I'm just going to go up here and do control over, and then hit return. And of course it's going to say 87, right? Because the number is 1 through 87, but I'm going to take that input for the max function and then just bring it down. And now I know that regardless of however long, like this one only goes to 69, this one goes to 47, they're super uneven. And I always want to make sure I'm going all the way to the end. So by taking advantage of these columns up here, these header columns, I can go and figure out how to get to the end super fast. Oh, undo, Control Z, double click this down. And now I have all of those filled in nice and easy, super fast. Now we're going to just check our work. Here, 25 is indeed between 20 and 26. 23 is indeed between 20 and 26, and so is 22. So I think I might be onto something. Let's go on to level 2. So in level 2, let's go down and look at this data here. What's the sum of the numbers that appears in each of the encrypted messages? So the sum, I'm going to take advantage of that max function because A, it has relative cell references. So when I go this one uses row 51. So if I paste in other cells, they'll update. And I know I've already gone down or gone across to the appropriate number of columns to the right. Now I no longer want max, I want sum, so I'm just going to replace that with sum, control, no, paste, and I got my 528 all the way to 887 might be actually the highest here. But anyway, let's go and check our work. So here it says for example number 21, 724 is between those, 482 is between these guardrails, and this is also in game 22 is between those guardrails. Now, something that I didn't point out in level 1 and is still a good thing to point out here in level 1 and 2 is notice that the sum and the max, they're ignoring these non-numeric characters over here, like the plus sign. So you can still apply those functions even when all of the inputs in the input range might not have numeric values. Okay, so next, level 3, we're just flying through this. So level 3 says, looking a little more closely, how many characters are in each message, including the breaks. Okay, so now essentially what it's saying is it wants to know how many cells have value or have non-blank, have entries in them. So like this one should be a larger number when we look at the output than this one here, because like this one stops at 26. So essentially we know that this one should be 26. This one should be 69. So let's figure out what we can do. Well, we already have a function that covers the entire range of the table from left to right. So now I'm going to do, instead of sum, I'm going to do count A, because it just says how many non-blank entries are there. There we go, 69. I'm going to go down and paste that there, and indeed there was 26 right there. Let's check our guardrails, make sure we're on the right path. So that's between that, and 26 is indeed between 25 and 35. Beauty. Okay, now how many words are in each message? This is a little bit different right here. It's not how many characters are there, and so not how many entries, but how many words. So like there's a word, here's a word. So what I'm going to do, I think I still have that. Yep, I still have a function on my clipboard. I am going to count not how many non-empty values are there, but I'm going to count the number of plus signs because that's the number of breaks between words. So I'm going to change that to count if, there we go. And there's my range, yep. And then the next argument in the count function is what am I trying to count? The number of plus signs. Now it's going to tell me how many breaks there are. So if there are 2 words, there's going to be 1 break in between each word, right? If there's 3 words, there's going to be 2 breaks in between the words. So there's always going to be 1 more break or 1 more word than there are breaks. So I'm going to do that and paste. Let's see if this function has gotten the number of words correctly. 12 is between that, 7 is between 5 and 10, and 5 is between 1 and 5. Awesome. Oh, now in level 5, we actually start the decoding process. So we've got an idea of the data. Now we're going to actually dig into it. Okay, so I'm going to take advantage of this decoding table over here. I'm going to go actually this. I'm going to do a named range. Those are going to be my letters. And down 1, this is going to be my values. Okay. So over here, it's saying, hey, go up here, scroll all the way to 21, and then return the letter that that 21 value represents. We're not going to scroll. We're going to do XLOOKUP. Nope. XLOOKUP. Thank you. Oh. Hi. X. There we go. Lookup. So the XLOOKUP arguments say, hey, what should I look up? I want you to look up number 21. Okay, cool. I want you to look it up in the values. There we go. You can see that highlighted, range, fantastic. And then what would you like me to return? I would like you to return me the letters. The letter and letters that corresponds with 21 in values. Get you. And that's what we saw a second ago. So we're pretty confident. And check. U is between Q and U, H, E, F, G. Yes, H is between F and J, and D is between A and E. Lovely. Okay. So now we are going to get into decoding words. So for this one, each of these letters is a different word. And we're only going to be decoding the first word of the message. I bet if we scroll down here, then, oh, I bet wrong. Okay. I thought there was going to be more words up there. So actually, hold on. If I scroll up, do I see more words after? I do. So here's the first word. There's the second word, at least the beginning of it. Over here, they've gotten rid of the second and the third and the fourth words and all of this. So they've only given us the first word. And they want to know, what do they want to know? What's the first word? They want us to rearrange, look into this lookup table up here, look for each number, grab the corresponding letter, and put all of the letters, combine them all, join them all into one word and put them all over there. Okay, so again, what I normally do is I scroll to the right, I love data tables, put my data table over there. Here, no, I'm not going to be scrolling. So I am going to first create a new tab. I'm going to call this tab Level 6. Super, I'm going to spell it right. Level 6. Okay. And then on that tab, let's see, what do I want to do? I don't want to be going back and forth the whole time. So I am going to do View, New Window. I'm going to put one of my windows over there, one of my windows over here, so I can see, come here. I can see my case, level 6 over here. And I can see my level 6 input over here. That's like really big. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Okay. So, several ways I can go about this. I could first, this is totally cheating. Not cheating, because you're doing this for speed over here. I could paste my column headers over there. There's a couple reasons why. And I will show you. And then over here, I'm going to take advantage of, if you haven't noticed, every single game in a MECC challenge has a different name. So you can see if we scroll up, they're all different. I'm going to take advantage of that. So I'm going to put over here equals, I'm going to do example first because I want to make sure everything is working. So those of you just starting out with XLOOKUP, might be useful to you. You might put an XLOOKUP in each cell. There, XLOOKUP, again, lookup value says, hey, what should I do? I want you to look up this value where all of the game names are in column B of the Case Junior Varsity tab. And when you find example 6 in column B, I want you to come back and give me the corresponding value from column G. beauty, and it does 19. Now I want to drag that formula over, but if I drag it over, B and G will update. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to have 4 that, and always keep that column B, but I'm going to let G remain a relative reference so it can update. I'm going to skip, and I'm going to paste. And I am going to double check. $19. This is wrong. Oh, undo. Did you see what I did? I forgot to come back here. I locked in that one, but I didn't lock in my lookup. So I always want you to look over there. I could have just kept it like that. There. Thank you. 1 over, paste. And now look at that. So it pulled in the 19, 1, 22, and 5 correctly. But I got all those zeros. I'm going to ignore them for right now. I'm going to talk about how we can make this a little bit prettier later on. But remember, in MECC, speed is what you're after. In my class, I like things pretty. In here, you can make it a little ugly if you get it done quickly and it's correct. So next, we've brought in the numbers. Next, we have to actually transform the numbers into letters. So we can do another XLOOKUP and say, hey, please go and look up 19 in the values range. And once you find it, return the letters that go with it. There we go. Then we can copy that over. And oh, we got save, which is correct. But again, we have all those nasty F or NAs, right? Because it looked for 0 and it couldn't find 0 in the values range, so there was no letter to return for it. So you could take advantage of FNA if you want to, oh, whoops, FNA, comma. So this says, hey, if B4 is returning an NA error, then just give me a blank. Nope. And now all of those ugly NAs are gone. And then we could text join and say, hey, I want you to join all of the values or the strings in the range that I'm about to tell you to, and join them all together. And I want you to put them right next to each other. So that's why I have double quote with nothing in between, no spaces, no hyphens, nothing like that. Then I do indeed want you, I just, tab to make that come over. True says ignore all those empty cells that we did the NA, if NA, to get rid of. Oh, and now I need you to tell you the entire range. So highlight that, and I have my save. So that's a cool way to go about it. You could also, let's see, I could have done an XLOOKUP here. And again, looked up this value. That's the key. That's the game name. And I could have again highlighted B to say, hey, look that up there. Or look for example 6 in column B of that tab. And then when you find it on that row, bring me back. There we go. The values from these columns in that row. So look what happened here. Up here, I did an XLOOKUP for every cell, and I needed to have this header column. Over here, I did an XLOOKUP, only one of them in this cell, and said, hey, once you find it, give me all of these different column values. And Excel created an array. That's why it's all highlighted like this, that outline. Now, I still needed to know how far to go over. I needed to know that the last column that entries could be in is column P. So I didn't need to have this little cheater thing up here, but I still needed to know how long to tell Excel to look over the columns through. Okay, so I could continue and say, okay, great. Once you find that, I can start nesting if I really want to. Whoops. Copy that, put it here. It's going to be looking over there. Everything else will be the same. I could start doing like XLOOKUP around this and start just nesting everything together if I wanted to. So again, look at every value in this array that's going to be my input for, and then look up the values and return the letters. And I'm going to have an array that is kicked out, but it's pretty ugly because it's got those NAs in there. So I could just keep going and, oh, didn't go to the end. Let's see. Oh, I have 2 commas there. Whoops, there we go. And then I could put a text join around this because the first argument was the delimiter, what to put in between what you're joining, nothing. And then tab for ignore the empty cells, and then hit return, and boom, I have my output all in one cell. Again, wouldn't do this in the actual competition, but it's pretty cool. Okay, so now I have my basic function here, and I am going to make it a data table. How exciting is that? Okay, so here I'm going to have this be my input, and you do not have to format things the way that I do. This just helps keep me sane. So I usually have blue as my input, and I usually have this little orange as my output. So then over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, let's do it here. I'm going to make a range that has all of my games in here. So we just did this example for this game, but now I'm going to say, hey, let's do here. I want you to look through all of those. No. I want you to look for game 100, 101 to 120. So I could just go like this, boom, like that, yeah, and keep going until I get to 120. Or I can do a sequence. That's pretty cool. And I want 20 rows outputted. No columns. And I want it to start at 101. And look at that array that was nicely created. Okay, so these are all the different games that I want this data table that I'm about to create to go through as the input. And so again, what I like to do is just remind myself that this is an input. And this, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to link that to my output. This is what I want my data table to create. Then I highlight the whole thing, and let's see, data, forecast, what if, create a data table, and my column cell is here. And there is our answer, and we could equals over here using, and copy that down. And now we have all of the different words. Let's check. So we have this 101. The first letter is a U, then H, and then, oh, these are the same letters from above too. That would make sense. Okay, we're almost there except for bonuses. So we need to come down here. So now what is the sum of the numbers? So here, this is a totally different input, right? These are different messages than what we have up here in all of the tables above. So what's different is in level 6, we were given numbers and then we had to figure out what the letters were and then join all the letters together to get a word. Now it's kind of going to go opposite. We're going to be given letters and we're going to make them numbers, and then I think we sum the numbers. Yes, we sum the numbers. So it's almost the same, which is why I am going to copy this table or this tab. I'm going to call it Super Creative Level 7 over here. And now, let's see, I'm going to come over here and let's change some stuff. Equals, example 7. So now, example 7 is pulling in all of those letters that we saw and any missing cells, putting in those zeros. These are NAs right now. We're going to fix it because it's saying, hey, go and look for X in values, and X obviously isn't a number, and so it's not finding X. So we just need to flip this stuff around, these arguments, and say, hey, go look for X in letters, and once you find that, give me the value that's corresponding with that. I'm going to repaste that formula over there. And now, this was text joined. This makes no sense, right? It just joined all of these numbers. We don't want text joined. We want those summed. And, and sum only has, I think I spelled sum wrong. Sum only has one argument, right? All the numbers. And look, there's our 114. That worked. Okay, so we need to do the same thing over here. We need to update these inputs. And then, right, we don't want a sum, or we don't want text join. We just want to sum the numbers. Okay, so here we are going to flip. This should be letters, and this should be values. And that works, but this doesn't work, right? Because it's saying, hey, go apply all of this to games 101 to 120, and we're no longer there. We're at 121, so we need to change this to 121. And look what we got. Okay, so we could paste values. I don't like doing that stuff. I like being dynamic as possible, and so I'm going to just paste those cell references over there. We're going to check our work. We have 117 is within that range. That's within that range. 80, yep, that's good. So now we're going to do some bonuses. I'm going to do the bonuses that relate to the levels that we've already done before going to the messages tab. Okay, so first it says for bonus number 1, we have done level 3. So what length, or what is the length of the shortest message in level 3? Okay, so that's an, undo, escape. So that's a minimum function, right? Level 3, we have figured out the lengths of the different messages. So we're going to highlight that whole thing. And the shortest message had 26 characters in it. Okay. Then bonus 4, we've done level 3. So how many times does the letter C appear? Okay, well, if you look in anywhere in this C, we obviously don't see it. So the first thing we need to do is convert C to what its numeric value is. And yes, we can all do ABC. Yes, we can do that, but we should practice using our Excel skills. So look up C. By the way, look up is case insensitive, so doesn't matter if we did lowercase or uppercase C. Okay, so look up the value C in the letters named range, and once you find it, return the corresponding values. And indeed, 3, aha. Okay, so now we want to know how many times does 3 show up in a particular range. So I'm going to use that header to jump to the last. And I got to make sure I go to the first. There's my range, comma. How many times does 3 appear? 29 times. Beauty. Okay, next. Within the messages worksheet, what person of interest committed the crime hard coding within formulas? That is awful. So we're going to jump over here to messages. I'm just going to go ahead and name some ranges. I don't know what's going to be important, but I think that was a record. This is the message category. I'm going to try to spell it out right in case I need to actually refer to it. Category. This is person of interest, so I'll just call that person. And this is, ooh, Excel crime. I guess crime. And if someone commits a crime, notice that it says yes or no with title capitalization. So back over here. Within the message worksheet, what person of interest hard coding within formulas? Ooh, I'm going to have to type that. I could avoid, you've seen, I'm not the most awesome typer. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it over there just to be sure. So I'm going to say, hey, I want you to XLOOKUP. I want you to go look for this string that is in, I think that was in category. And then, oh, return the person, right? Who did it? Zachary did it. Zachary. Okay, how many messages in the summary information for messages provide evidence of Excel crimes? Oh, this is how many times do we see yes? So equals COUNTIF. Oh, I think I'm in the wrong. There we go. Equal. I want you to go if. When you go to the crimes tab. I think it was just crime. Yep. And count how many yeses there were. There were 9 of them. Okay. Then finally, encrypt the phrase Excel wizard. Okay, so we have a phrase, Excel wizard. I'm going to do the same thing, just in case I spell it wrong. And I'm going to paste it down there. And in fact, I am going to paste it twice to show you different ways that we can go about this. Okay, so for Excel wizard, we need to, a couple things. In order to be able to apply this bonus question, we need to take each letter and split it, first of all. And then we're going to need to take each of the split letters, put them into numbers, and then sum those numbers. So how are we going to do this? We could come up here to, is it data? Yeah, data, text to columns. And we could do fixed width, and then we could, next. Nope. We could put, oh my goodness, a little break in between finish. There we go. And then, just look to make sure that worked. So, but what if it were like super duper long? That would be so tedious. So instead, we could use a function, the mid function, and we could use that as the input cell. That's the text, and this next one is start with. And we are going to use the sequence function to iterate through the text Excel wizard. And we are going to have the output go not in rows, but in columns. And we're going to iterate across the length of that. And we're going to do it one at a time. And boom, we have that. Beauty. Okay, so doesn't matter which way you want about it, but this way, look, it has an array that is your output, would be really helpful if you had a very long string as your input. Okay, so next we need all these XLOOKUPs. I want to go through that, and we're going to, what are we doing? We're looking up this value in letters and then returning the values for it. Hit return, beauty, paste, awesome. Where, oh, I'm in a menu. And then we are going to, oh, and we have everything we need. We're just going to sum equals sum, nope, open parentheses of all of these values. And there you have it. And now we have solved the Whodunnit MECC case. Thanks.